Good day, everyone. I hope that we are doing well and still keeping safe under all the circumstances. As we draw to the close of 2021, I would like to take a moment for a brief reflection on the year that is coming to an end. In my capacity as the chairman of the board of the Institute of Human Settlement Practitioners in South Africa, we had the year and we are almost getting to the end of that year. I thought it is important for us to briefly reflect on how the year has gone by and what are the things that we had planned to do and what did we actually do in the course of this year and what did we see and even perhaps who did we meet in the course of 2021 as an institute. I will take that question with you as we conclude the year. One hopes that when we do that, we will be able to gather some insights from this year's experience that will influence us on how we'll be approaching 2022 as the Institute of Human Settlement Practitioners in South Africa. But then before we can do that, what is the Institute of Human Settlement Practitioners in South Africa? This is a not-for-profit organization, a voluntary organization, a professional association, and a home for those who are studying, have graduated, are working, both teaching and also in practice in the field of housing and human settlements in South Africa. This is the professional home of all those. Perhaps different from other professional associations, we have within our membership base the students, those who are studying in the field. This institute is still a not-for-profit organization. It was established in 2016. I may say it was legally registered in South Africa during 2016, but it took off the ground from the last quarter of 2019, when its first board, which was constituted in the same year, convened a first strategic planning session in the University of KwaZulu-Natal, UKZN Foundation offices in Howard College in Durban. That strategic planning session was beginning to define the vision and the missions of this institute, and perhaps to explore some of the goals, including programs that will be pursued by this institute going forward. But then, as we all know, with all those plans in place or still being shaped, came 2020, February, March, with a global pandemic, the coronavirus hitting the globe, which led to many organizations to retreat from their missions and to begin to think about how best are they going to move forward. We do know that other organizations unfortunately died. Remember, this was the first year of this institute, 2020. It was supposed to engage on its programs as they were developed and endorsed by the board in the UKZN Foundation strategic planning session during November 2019, which was therefore not possible. The board had to relook the new landscape, global landscape of coronavirus, and look into how it's going to forge forward. I mean, it was just taking off the ground. How it's going to forge forward, I think, under the new normal, as we came to understand later with the coronavirus being with us, as it has continued to 2021 as it still is with us. I think as different countries, as different organizations. So 2021 has been a year where learnings from 2020 within the Institute informed the Institute about what it should do under the circumstances of a global pandemic. But before we can go into the highlights of 2021, it may be useful just to talk very briefly about what this institute is. We said that it is a home for those who study, have graduated, and who are working, which means in the practice of housing and human settlements, but also importantly, who are also teaching, also in the field of housing and human settlements. This institute is a voice that represents this membership base. It stands to advocate for their interest in the scheme of things within the space of professionalization in South Africa. We believe that there is a cohort or a group of practitioners who are not affiliating to any other organization. I think when we established this institute, and those are involved in the delivery process, we may want to call it a value chain of affordable housing and development, an important function of providing homes and developing communities, where we began to find that there are those working in that space different from other functions within society who are not affiliating to any professional associations, and yet they are handling such an important matter as providing shelter to the communities and the households. So this institute intends to promote high standards of ethical conduct for those who are working in this space. It also advocates for their continuous professional development, because we believe that is important. This may come in different forms, whether through short learning or in the development of human settlements in other countries as well, international exposure. Suite of other services that within that space of continuous professional development, the Institute has been planning to embark upon. It carries those duties for all its members. Of course, creating platforms for them to engage issues of policy within the sector of Africa, so that they are also contributing to matters that inform what they do and even what they learn on a daily basis. So this is the Institute. We are concerned about the professional management of housing and human settlement development in South Africa. And we believe that it is important that those who study in the field, the students and the graduate, are better socialized in handling the functions of housing and human settlement development, such that all the maladies that face this sector are attended to by those who are professional and who belong to a professional home. We do know the issues pertaining to the late starting, non-starting, delayed completion of housing projects, I think both in the low and middle income space, in particular government subsidized housing programs, which delays lead to other challenges or problems of cost overruns. We understand that there are professionals who work in that space, but we believe that those professionals work with other people as well who are not affiliating to any professional home, who by implication might be contributing to the late delays or non-completion of human settlement development. We do know that there are issues related to the quality of the delivery of human settlements, which has bedeviled the sector for some time. Even in instances where funds are available, inelastic or limited as they are, how they get dispersed through execution of plans becomes an issue, and shoddy workmanship. We are saying that all those who are involved in that space have also to affiliate to this organization, the Institute of Human Settlement Practitioners in South Africa. So we do stand not only for the interests of the members of the organization, but we are also concerned about how sustainable human settlements are evolving in South Africa at the level of planning, design, and executions. And the fact that there seems to be inadequate accountability on who has contributed to particular outputs and outcomes. We have been worried about the location of the human settlements in the outskirts of cities and towns, and the fact that those locational decisions move people from the inner city spaces, whether informal, to the edges of the cities, far away from existing social and economic amenities. And we also believe that there are practitioners involved or advising on such decisions. And we're saying that, therefore, our members must also take accountability for the type of settlements that are evolving in South Africa after the repeal of legislations that were promoting fragmented cities and towns in South Africa. That it is important to have this type of this institute. A fairly new institute, of course, which is embracing this mandate of organizing those who work in the space of human settlements and housing in South Africa into this home, where these matters will be discussed, and also where some innovative solutions shall be found for these maladies facing housing and human settlements in South Africa through different mechanisms, as I spoke of an important need for the exposure of those to best practices elsewhere across the globe. So we have had this institute still as its infancy stages. I think as we open 2021, we're therefore mindful of the fact that we're still having teething problems as this institute. So there were some priorities that were set. Key among these priorities would be one, institution building. That was important for us for the year. Institution building, which then wherein we focus on matters like strategic planning, because we needed to put into place a strategic plan of 5 years that will guide the work of this institute. We had to engage in that process of strategic business planning as an institute, and we concluded that process. The strategic business planning process itself was able to yield an institute structure, because we needed to put into place a structure of the institute beyond the board, because you require as an organization structures that are going to carry forward the type of programs you have developed. So we have then focused on the area of creating structures. We have a board structure in place with subcommittees which have been adopted in the course of 2021. Importantly, within the institute structure, we have created what we call wings of the institute. These are chapters. You may want to call them chapters, but we call them affectionately wings of the institute. Because we are a membership-based and membership-driven organization, we needed to have clear connection between the institute, its board, its operations, and its members outside there. A very clear and unbroken connection between the institute and those it stands for. For us to do that, we then required to create wings of the institute. In the course of 2021, what we then did was to establish or to appoint interim national structures or committees of those wings. We already had, as a launching pad, the students chapter. which was launched in 2019 at Nelson Mandela University in South Africa by students who are studying housing and human settlements in the University of Fort Hare, University of KwaZulu-Natal, University of the Free State, University of South Africa, University of the Witwatersrand, and also Nelson Mandela University. So they had launched the student chapter and established a national committee, which was in place as we commenced our work in 2021. However, we had gaps we identified and we had to backfill. One was to establish a national interim committee for what we call a Young Professionals Forum. What is a Young Professionals Forum in the context of the Institute? These are graduates of housing and human settlements within the participating universities who have in some way succeeded to secure some type of work within the industry or broadly the labor market. So we thought it is important for us to have that wing of the students of the Young Professionals chapter. We call it a Young Professional Forum that is in place. It has got its own interim national committee, which is chaired by Mr. Tahula Rofiwa, who is a graduate of human settlements from Nelson Mandela University, pursuing his master's in urban studies with the University of the Witwatersrand, but who is working in the presidency of South Africa under the infrastructure program within the presidency office. He is chairing that, together with other graduates who have been identified who are working in different spaces within South Africa. They will then come together to develop or define their own program of action and look into what are their specific interests as they have just got into the labor market after graduating. What are their experiences which they can feed back to the system that produced them, which is the academic space, and what are the issues that need to be looked at as they get into the working space in NS. We have got that Young Professionals Forum, which was established as an interim structure this year. The third one would be the Academics Forum. This committee is currently led by Mr. Thomas Stewart of the University of Free State, a program convener or coordinator for human settlement studies in that university. He sits together with other heads of departments or program conveners or coordinators of human settlements in the participating universities in South Africa. Yet again, that forum looks into matters that affect students. That forum has got a privilege of understanding who is studying in which university, and therefore that forum in some way would have a link with those who have graduated just after graduating. But it deals with all matters which would affect the academic programs in those universities for improvement purposes and also pertaining, looking into issues of articulation across universities. Not only teaching, that forum also engages matters pertaining to conferencing, scientific conferencing, academic paper-driven conferences, and looking on opportunities around research. That forum also explores issues related to international cooperation, Africa to Africa, which means looking into other universities that offer housing and human studies in Africa and across the globe. It is within that forum also that we saw a global classroom being launched between Nelson Mandela University and the University of Maryland in the course of 2021. We have got that forum called Academics Forum in place. We have now a fourth one, the Practitioners Forum. The Practitioners Forum has got an interim national committee also. This forum is a forum of those who are in the industry, if we could put it in that manner, those who are working in the field of housing and human settlements. Which field is that? Those who are in the planning, design, and execution of human settlements in South Africa, in the 3 spheres of government, across the social housing organizations that are involved in human settlements, municipalities that are entrusted with the responsibility of implementing human settlement programs, who we also know that within their organizational structures, they create housing units. I guess those are currently called human settlements business units within the municipalities, in particular the metropoles. We do have also NGOs in the space of land and housing who are involved in different ways on the implementation of human settlements in South Africa. Their staff members have got also a space within the professionals forum to interact with other professionals in their field. So it is not only practitioners who are working in government. We also understand that there are other organizations called implementing agents responsible for major projects, human sector developments in South Africa, like those called catalytic projects of 10 to 15-year time horizon implemented by different organizations. The staff members have got a home in the institute as well, as they are involved in the creation of human settlements in South Africa. So during this year, we then established those interim committees. They have in earnest engaged with the planning process, program development, as they are seeking to engage further with their members in the coming year. So 2021 has been that year also of strategic engagements. 2021, wherein we had to talk with like-minded organizations who we thought as a board would support this cause, or who would be keen to work with an organization like ourselves. What are those? Technically, those will be universities in South Africa that teach and pursue research in the field of housing and human settlements. We had an engagement with those different universities in the course of this year. We had an engagement also with the National School of Government, which is leading the professionalization of the public service in South Africa as a critical program, and we found a convergence of purpose in that respect. That conversation is still continuing with the National School of Government, and we hope that that conversation will lead to us concluding some memorandum of understanding with that institution in the area of human settlements, in particular in South Africa. We also spoke and had some strategic partnership with the National Institute of Humanities and Social Sciences in South Africa. Importantly, in the area of professionalization and professional conferencing, which is our key program as an institute. That engagement led us to another important output for the year with the National Institute of Humanities and Social Sciences. We also had an engagement with the South African National Convention Bureau, which is under the Department of Tourism, which also found some convergence in our work around taking South Africa to a global space, but in a more professional manner, engaging different organizations around a particular cause, which is affordable housing and human settlement, an issue which matters to all individuals and all households in South Africa, a home. So we found a convergence of purpose with SANCAP, and I think we had a strategic partnership project in the course of this year with them as well. We have had these engagements, also an engagement with the National Department of Human Settlement, in particular, its executive management through the Director General, where we've triggered a conversation on a number of issues related to our cooperation as an entity, an organization, outside government, outside the private sector. How are we going to work together into the future in this type of the program, understanding the vision of the National Department of Human Settlement and the human settlement sector in South Africa? There are specific programmatic areas that are being pursued or explored, I think, out of those engagements in this year. But yet again, the National Department of Human Settlement also became a strategic partner to one of our main activities, a conference that we convened this year. The Eastern Cape Department of Human Settlement, we have had ongoing engagements with it on a number of issues also, including graduate placement, continuous professional development of those who are working in the space, and all other issues. Again, within that space, we saw as the year was drawing to the close, activities related to advertisement of internship programs and permanent positions within the Eastern Cape, where the human settlement qualifications were cited. Meaning those internship programs were clearly targeting those who have graduated in the field. I think that was quite encouraging as an output from our engagements with the department. A conversation has been underway also with the University of Fort Hare, exploring a possibility of partnering with that university in the next 5 years to 7 years on a number of issues. I think that discussion or conversation still continues with the University of Fort Hare. Anyway, that university became a co-host of the 2021 African Regional Students Conference that we convened in October 2021 in the East London Region ICC, which was also a hybrid conference with others connecting virtually within South Africa, Africa, USA, and the United Kingdom, participating in different sessions of this African Regional Student Conference that we convened for the first time. We have therefore had that also as an output for 2021, the African Regional Students Conference. Lastly, in the course of this year, up to its end, we have been participating in an initiative called US-Africa Collaborative, led by Mrs. Elizabeth Glanscott from Maryland in the US, with whom we have been interacting and working through NARO, which is the National Association of Housing and Redevelopment Officials in the US, where a number of organizations participate in NARO, with Ms. Glanscott and other like-minded individuals from US universities and also social housing authorities in the US. We have come together into what we call a US-Africa Collaborative, where we are exploring partnership programs, transatlantic partnership programs in the space of affordable housing and human settlements. It is within that space of US-Africa Collaborative that National University and the University of Maryland School of Architecture, Planning and Preservation were able to even launch the Affordable Housing Global Classroom in 2021. So we have had this type of programs over and above the institution building and governance programs of the Institute. This has been the focus of the year and some of the outputs that we've seen in the course of the year. As we get to the end of 2021, we reflect on this and begin to think about what will be our likely focus in 2022. 2022, of course, we still have the pandemic in South Africa and across the globe. So we will continue with our mode or manner of operations, which is more leaning heavily on ICT technologies. Digitization is our strength, and rather than an intervention is an institute, as we run different programs in a hybrid and even in a virtual form. So we'll be continuing in the year with institution building initiatives, populating the board structures, the existing structures of the institute further, developing policies and systems which are important for the institute, in particular in its endeavor to apply for recognition as a professional body with the South African Qualifications Authority. So we'll be looking on seriously, we'll be continuing to look on matters of systems development, all matters of governance. We'll also be focusing on strategic resource mobilization as a focus area of the board work. For one reason, this is a not-for-profit organization. It is not receiving any form of income from any other organization other than partnership programs we implement with different organizations. So, and it is at its infancy stage, such that it has not been able to also attract membership fees as an institute, which is a focus area for 2022, membership registration. So focus will be therefore on student development, strategic resource mobilization, and through different mechanisms, but including strategic partnerships as a focus area. We'll therefore be looking on issues of membership registration, web-based membership portal that we will be establishing in 2022. That work has commenced with our website development in 2021, and our focus in 2022 will be on the membership portal, which is more about a web-based registration process for members. That will be very important, as it will also lead us, or perhaps trigger some form of income through membership subscriptions. Members as both individuals and as organization, corporate members, in line with the constitution of the institute. So we'll be focusing on those matters. Strategic planning is a continuous process. We'll constantly look on strengthening our strategies as an institute moving into 2022. The year of 2022, again, will continue to work with our partners in Africa through the US and the United States of America through the US-Africa Collaborative that we have committed to. We'll continue to cooperate with our African collaborators and also practice professionals within that space of the US-Africa Collaborative, as we will be also advancing our partnership with social housing institutions and universities in the US. But as a plural association, our focus will be mainly with the social housing institutions or housing authorities, as they are called in the US. That work will be continuing also in 2022. So also in the year, I think it will be the year of our planning for the launch of the Institute in 2023. The last board meeting of the Institute will be held in February 2022. That board meeting is seized with the responsibility to decide on the dates and the format of the inaugural conference of the Institute, the launch conference of the Institute, which will be taking place in 2023. That will be communicated to the members and all those we work with after February as to how do we see that conference and what form. But we are already of the mind that the format it will take, it will be a high-profile conference with a strong international character in it, because we believe that the challenges that are facing affordable housing in South Africa are similar to challenges faced by other nations, both in the region, in the continent, in the global south, but also in other countries considered as developing. We do understand that within developing countries as well, there are pockets of poverty, which in certain countries like the US, they also tend to take the form of color in their evolution, given the history of the United States of America itself. So we will continue to cooperate, I think, across continents on these matters. So we see the participation of other continents in our conference in 2023 as important. For as we pursue the agenda of professionalizing the housing and human settlement space, not in South Africa, and learning from other countries, and in some way also influencing the directions being pursued by those countries as well in dealing with issues of affordable housing and human settlements. And this is informed by the fact that people, by their nature, are not static. They move across political boundaries. It is important for us, therefore, to engage on these matters as professionals across the political boundaries, because people are by nature moving in different spaces within the global village. Therefore, it's important for other countries like us to also be exposed to how the other countries are responding to these challenges. Similarly, for us to share with them our own experiences and our own interventions in these issues across in South Africa. We will also be participating in an important event, the Pan-African Symposium, which will be hosted by University of KwaZulu-Natal under the umbrella of the US-Africa Collaborative. This symposium is an international conference with strong African focus. It is convened under the theme of the Pan-African City, yesterday, today, and tomorrow, where we're looking on the dynamics of how the African city is taking shape within different urban spaces in South Africa. So we'll be participating in that conference. We are already participating in its preparatory process anyway, as in 2021. So we'll be participating within that conference through different mechanisms, including paper presentations, sharing of case studies by practitioners, and all other hosting special workshops looking on specific themes or matters within the broader theme. We will also be dedicating time to that conference. For us, that conference will be also a stepping stone into our launch conference in 2023 as the Institute. Therefore, we will be also be having in the course of this year small events by our wings as an Institute. We foresee that there shall be small events, seminars, webinars, workshops, which will be convened by the wings of our Institute in the course of 2022. And therefore the Institute and its board will be supporting such programs. We are likely to get those programs or events tabled in the last board meeting of the Institute in February 2022. These are some of the activities that we'll be focusing on, and importantly, the membership portal and the membership drive will be focusing strongly on that during 2022, getting our members, the practitioners, the professionals, the lecturers or academics, the students, the unemployed graduates, the young professionals being registered and participating in the work of their professional association, the Institute of Human Settlement Practitioners in South Africa. I might have taken a bit long. I think with this reflection, the intention was truly to reflect on what we've been doing, what we saw during this year, and what we're looking forward to in 2022. I may say that 2021 has been a good year for the institution. albeit all the challenges being faced by different organizations. Firstly, in terms of the global pandemic, with the restrictions that governments, including South Africa, put in place from time to time. We've been faced with those at different alert levels of the lockdown, but also as a young organization with limited resources, for which we also invite individuals to can donate to the Institute by visiting our website and get the details of where donations, however small, could be channeled to. Our website, of course, is www.IHSP-SA.org.za. That is our website. You can visit our website. It's the Institute of Human Settlement Practitioners, South Africa. If you want to Google it, it will lead you to our website where you will get to know more about the Institute, programs we implement, and importantly, if you want really to throw some donation into this type of work, which is aimed at supporting or driving the professionalization of the human settlement sector in South Africa, with the ultimate goal and ensuring that the sector, the professionals, provide better living conditions for the people of South Africa. You may see a reason to work with us through strategic programs or partnership programs, which our administrator is willing to engage you on as a potential stakeholder for us to enter or to engage in a conversation around those. Secondly, you may want to be anonymous and just make a donation on this cause. We are therefore looking forward to also more partners, like-minded individuals and organizations who would be keen to work with us around this organization. So 2022 will be that type will be that year where we are also attempting to strengthen our foundations, putting our house more in order for what we are looking forward to, which is the professional recognition of the Institute with the South African Qualifications Authority on one hand, whilst we work with the national government on a legislation review in South Africa, which will make provision for the establishment of a council for human professionals in South Africa. In our conversation with the National Council of Human Settlement, we've already picked up that area, and in 2022, we'll surely be making more formal submissions in the review of the Housing Act towards the establishment of the Council for Human Professionals in South Africa. This has been the year. This is what we look forward to in 2022. We want to thank everyone who came across us, whom we met also. We had the discussions and the conversations on a number of issues. If we didn't conclude those conversations or discussions, be aware that in the coming year, we will be making a call or a follow-up call with you to take those discussions forward and to their final conclusion, which we believe it should be beneficial to both the Institute and also your organizations. To our members, this is your home. We have already been saying to a number of individuals who are seeking to register with the Institute, for which we apologize in saying that our membership portal is still being developed, constructed. It's not fully yet there. I think it is our primary project that we are working on. We've got a service provider on it, and we'll be continuing with it in the early 2022, so that when you register online, you are able to receive your membership certificate. You are also directed to specific activities. So be on the lookout for that type of a drive in 2022 of membership registration, so you can participate in the work of the Institute as member in good standing, who also contributes in some way to the income generation of the institute for it to carry this type of work. We wish you all, on behalf of the board and myself being member of the board as well, a very safe and enjoyable festive season. And for those who are in the Christian faith, we wish you a blessed Christmas time with your loved ones. But we also wish you all a happy new year, as we're not likely to speak with you until the end of this year. We look forward to 2022 together. We are optimistic that good things shall come in 2022 as well, if we hold hands together. We are here for you as organizations, but also for members and professional members. This is your home. If you are in the space of affordable housing and human settlement, if your passion resides in that space and you would love to grow in that space, and you love to share your own experiences with other professionals, this is your home, the Institute of Human Settlement Practitioners in South Africa. Thank you very much. Keep well.